I am happy to announce that all traces of maple syrup have been removed from my couch and a childproof lock has been added to my fridge. If Shipwaffle wants to get his little doll hands on any of my food, it's going to be very disappointed. As suggested, I went to purchase a pet stain vacuum to get rid of the sticky substance, and then I saw the price, so I borrowed my neighbor's. And surprisingly, she didn't ask why I needed a pet stain vacuum, despite knowing that I have no pets. Now that I think about it, she probably assumed it was some crazy college kid mess and just didn't want to know the details. That would explain why she seemed so disapproving. Oh well, she can gossip about me all she wants as long as she doesn't figure out that it's my haunted doll who's been driving her dog crazy. Interestingly, someone commented on one of my posts to point out that I previously mentioned Shitwaffle leaving odd search histories on my computer, including research into the sound pitches that only dogs can hear, which now makes a surprising amount of sense. I'm really glad I decided to share my experience with you all. I've often been accused of being oblivious, so it's nice to have other people who can make connections that I would otherwise overlooked. I mean, yeah, I have my friends, but they're pretty weirded out by Shitwaffle and don't really enjoy hearing about the exploits of my unusual roommate. Thankfully, the internet has an above-average tolerance for freaky shenanigans. So, thanks for being such good listeners, random strangers on the internet. This is a lot cheaper than a therapist, and you have my gratitude. But, you know who doesn't have my gratitude? Peter. Yes, my friend Peter, who thought it would be a great idea to show up at my house unannounced with a psychic in tow. Now, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against psychics. This one was a very nice older lady who reminded me a bit of my great aunt, and in any other circumstance, it would have been lovely to meet her. However, I'd just gotten off a long day at work and just slipped into my ratty sweatpants. You know, the kind you only wear when you plan on not having any human contact for the rest of the day. I just wanted to sink into my slightly maple syrup smelling couch, watch TV, and eat microwave food. But apparently Peter was worried about me because the possessed doll living in my house, which is ridiculous. Shitwaffle and I are chill. I tried to explain this to the two of them as they stepped into my house, but the psychic Denise wasn't listening. She was standing stock still. I sense an overwhelming rage coming from the living room, she murmured, her glasses flashing dramatically in the low light. Peter glanced at me wide-eyed as if to say, I knew it! I think he expected me to be impressed or intimidated or something, but it was hard to take any of it seriously because I knew that Shitwaffle was only pissed because they'd interrupted Animal Planet. You should probably leave, I suggested reasonably. The sooner my guests left, the sooner Shitwaffle and I could go back to watching television and laying around. Do not worry, child. Its negative energy cannot harm me. Denise tried to reassure me, completely misinterpreting my meaning. No, that's not what I... Look, I appreciate that you came to check on me, I lied, but has the entity ever tried to harm you? Denise interrupted, still in a low, cautious voice. Nope, I answered in a normal volume because all of the whispering nonsense was stupid. Dude, you broke your ankle the first week you got the thing, hissed Peter. And what about all those weird bruises? I groaned in exasperation. Okay, first of all, please don't bring the shampoo incident up because it's embarrassing and had nothing to do with Shitwaffle. And secondly, I continued, if you're claiming that you don't ever get unexplained bruises, then you're straight up lying because that shit happens to everyone. What about the burglar that was hospitalized because of the crazy doll? You can't dismiss that, Peter Whisper shouted. You bet your ass I can dismiss that, motherfucker! The motherfucker was trying to break into our house! Our house? Peter repeated incredulously. Shitwaffle is an excellent roommate, I said defensively. All of our friends are too scared to come over since the Ouija board incident. All of our friends are too scared to come over since the Ouija board incident. Peter deadpanned. Shitwaffle is an acceptable roommate, I amended. You contacted the spirit with the Ouija board? Denise asked suddenly, concern furrowing her brow. That's extremely risky. This may be even worse than I thought. Before I could inform her the Ouija boards are actually produced by Hasbro and therefore do not scare me any more than the Power Ranger action figure, she walked into the next room. Peter and I followed, only to see her reaching out to pick up the doll on the couch. Don't touch it! I yelled. The psychic paused. But I need to get a reading, she explained slowly, as if immediately manhandling someone upon entering a room was a perfectly acceptable thing to do. Damn. Is there anything more aggravating than an uninvited guest who walks around your house like they own the place? Shitwaffle apparently doesn't think so because it let out an ear-piercing screech, its head spinning around wildly. Peter looked like he was about ready to piss his pants. Denise took a cautious step back, which was probably a smart move. Never underestimate a potential Peter pants pissing. Or maybe she was startled by the doll screaming its head off. That could have also been the reason. Yeah, I get it, buddy. I sympathize with the irritated doll. I don't know why I let these screwballs in either. Yeah, I get it, buddy. I sympathize with the irritated doll. I don't know why I let these screwballs in either. The screwballs in question looked at me with surprise and betrayal at my commiserating comment. Like they were expecting me to be on casual terms with my roommate of the past few months. Which, you know, is a little insulting because I am perfectly capable of getting along with people. That thing isn't a human spirit. Don't you understand? It isn't Casper the Friendly Ghost. It's a demon possessing a vessel, Denise explained urgency leaking into her voice. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting a pop culture reference from someone who looked like she was fresh out of the hippie commune. Sure, Casper's a bit dated, but it's the thought that counts, right? I had to give her points for that one. The middle-aged woman continued to speak, her bangles clinging like a little alarmed as she gestured towards Shitwaffle. The demon is not of this world. Its sole purpose is to feed on your life force, to bring ruination into the lives of humans. It feels no remorse, no regret. It brings only suffering with it. Yeah, but it pays the rent. I shrugged. Denise looked mortified at my apathetic millennial attitude. I sighed and tried to explain. Look, you may have been able to afford a house back in the day, but the cost of living is expensive as hell right now. No pun intended. And sometimes a person's got no choice but to room with a literal demon, and all things considered, I've had worse roommates. Peter sputtered. But it's evil. You can't possibly. Shut up, Peter! I groaned, rubbing my forehead absently. A headache was starting to form, and I had pretty good guesses at the cause. Just please leave. I'm really tired and we want to be alone right now. Peter began to protest, but Denise pulled him back gently. It's too late, Peter. Your friend is already under demonic influence. There's nothing we can do for him now. For fuck's sake, was it really so hard for this lady to accept our economy's current housing crisis that she needed to accuse me of being mind controlled by a haunted doll? Well, at least it got them to leave. The doll was a little cranky afterwards, making all sorts of blood-curdling screams, but we finally managed to settle down and watch an interesting documentary about some kind of funky worm called a green-banded brute sack. So the evening wasn't entirely wasted by pointless dramatics. In other news, a commenter suggested that we use a letterboard to communicate, and I thought that was a fantastic idea. I've used whiteboards and chore charts with other roommates before, but I think it would really work with Shitwaffle because, well, I'm not sure it can even pick up a whiteboard marker with those tiny hands, let alone write legibly with one. I'm not sure if the doll's fingers have joints or not, although once I did think I saw him flip me off. But with a letterboard, the letters can just be picked up and shifted around to create messages. I'm still trying to decide whether it would be cheaper to buy a traditional letterboard or just get those little alphabet magnets for the fridge. I'd appreciate any thoughts you all might have on that. Either way, I'm extremely relieved to have found an efficient way to talk with the little guy. I was embarrassingly close to buying Christmas lights and stringing them up over the alphabet like in that one show with the girl who eats waffles. This way will be a lot easier on my electricity bill than that, thankfully. I'm going to end this post a little early as I'm still kind of in a bad mood from the psychic's visit. I mean, mind control? Under the demon's influence? Seriously? I think I'd know if I were being possessed. Never underestimate a potential Never underestimate a potential Peter piss. God damn it!